Alright, good morning. It's about 8:15 in the morning and I'm about ready to start a brew day. I had the Robobrew preheating last night so that when I woke up this morning it would be at the right temperature. Got it set to 72 when I add the grains. Actually, I'll do it now before I forget. I'll just drop the temperature down a few degrees to 68, which will make it about 67, which is what will be my mash temperature. So I'll start with the grains. Got it measured out already. It's a pretty simple recipe for American Pale Ale. It's just a 2.5 gallon batch. So I've got 12 liters of water in there. Here I've got what have I got? I got 1.25 of 2 row kilograms, 1.25 kilograms of Maris Otter, and 200 grams of Carafoam. And so we'll get this going here. Okay, so the grains are look to be crushed nicely. I like to use a few handfuls of rice hulls as well, just to be on the safe side. Last time I mixed this recipe, I had some issues with not enough water here, but it seems I added a liter this time. One of the things of the Robobrew is underneath this the malt pipe, there's some dead space, so for the water calculations you got to take that into consideration. I'm not sure the actual dead space by heart, but I can look that up here. Actually looks pretty good. We'll put the top screen in. Take off the rubber. Started the pump. Adjust the flow. It's reading 70 degrees right now, but it's set at 68. And they got 67.2 degrees coming out of the hose. So that's about what I'm looking for. So I'll set my timer for, I believe it was I'll set it for a 60-minute mash. So 1. There we go, 60-minute mash set. Usually when I make a coffee, I put it more this way. Usually I got coffee when I have an early brew day. And it's always cold when I go to drink it because I get so busy I should wait. So now what I'm going to do, while that's going there mashing, I will add some water to my sparge and get that heating up. this on. Let's plug it in first. Set it 77 degrees. Start off at 16.5 degrees. It's on, heating. That'll be my sparge water for later. I'm going to sparge with about 6 liters of water. So while that's working away, seems to be holding the level about right, pump set correct. I'm going to get my hops measured out. Okay, in order to make this video a little shorter, I decided to edit out some of the stuff. Measuring of hops isn't too exciting, but last time I made this recipe I used Chinook and I didn't have any, so since it was just the bittering hops for the 60-minute, I decided to use Mosaic, but I didn't really realize that the Mosaic was L2 or whatever, so it was double the alpha acid value, so 24.1. So I put in 9 grams of Mosaic for 60 minutes. Simcoe, 15 minutes, I put in 10 grams, and in that little cup there I also put in some yeast nutrient and a half a Whirlfloc tablet. And then I have a pack of Citra, 1 ounce or 28 grams. And when I get to the end of the boil, I'll stop the heat and I'll throw it in and I'll leave it for 10 minutes. For the water, I put in 1.5 grams of calcium carbonate and 1.5 grams of magnesium sulfate. That's about it. So the yeast I'm going to be using is US05, and I'm not going to hydrate that. I'm just going to sprinkle it on top. I will go through, once it's all ready, I'm going to go through the counterflow chiller and go directly into the fermenter with doing some splashing. So we'll see you in a bit. I'll tell you a little bit about my system here. So what I got is a Robobrew with the jacket, and this is my 15th brew with the Robobrew. I have only done 1 5-gallon batch. The rest have been 2.5 gallons. I don't drink enough to make it, and my friends still aren't too craft beer enthusiastic, I guess you could say. So I used to use the chiller that come with the Robobrew, but I've since got a counterflow chiller. It really speeds things up, I find. So I got a hood here. I don't really have to have it turned on. There's not that much evaporation, so it's just tied into my my air exchanger, and I've got it turned on maximum on the fan with the house, and it will suck in the exhaust. Just got a coffee maker that I'm using as a sparge water heater with a little temperature controller, so that is controlled good. I'll show you the sparging when it comes time. I've got a 20 amp circuit there dedicated just to the Robobrew and to the grinder. Yeah, so that's my system. I'll go through the counterflow chiller directly into the fermenter. Okay, I'm 15 minutes into the boil now, or sorry, into the mash, and that's what it looks like inside the Robobrew. Got a nice clearish wort coming out of there. It's been running at that at that speed pretty good. It seems to be just holding about perfect. My temperature is reading 68 on the Robobrew, and let's see what we got on the thermometer. $64 and a half. So that's lower than I'd like it to be. I'm gonna crank her up a couple degrees here. And then I'll have to monitor that, I guess. So I'm half an hour into the mash. Temperature of 67 for my wort, which is right where I want it to be. My Robobrew is set at almost 70 degrees. Set at 70 degrees to get the 67. I'll have to keep an eye on that. I'll probably actually drop it down a degree. As I mentioned before about dead space, so when I put the screen in the bottom, I've got about 5 liters of water below the malt pipe that doesn't mix with the grains. So I take that into account when I do my ratio for water to grain. Also, my markings on the inside of the Robobrew are about 2 liters off. So if it says I've got 14 liters in there, I've really only got 12. So I take that into account as well. But you know, after 15 batches, I've kind of got my system down. I got it figured out how I do it, and I really like this. It works pretty good for me. Okay, there we go. The alarm's going off, so we can start our sparge. Start that for now. Okay. So it appears I've lost the little cap, rubber cap. I'll find it a little later. Cover the hole so none of the water, the sparge water, goes in there. And sounds like it's draining pretty good. So I got it set. I got it marked out on my sparge heater. So I'm at 0 right now. So I'll take it down to 6, and that'll be 6 liters of sparge water. That's 4 liters in there. Liters. And it's starting to get a little warm. There's our 6-liter sparge. Start cranking up my heat. Set it at 110. I guess I could have done that right off the bat there, but it'll only get as hot as boiling is, so. Alright, the grains are pretty much done draining. So I got a pail here. Just set that in for now. And I have another pail. Just that I put the crap in, keep the floor clean. I've got my settings good here. So I guess I could take a pre-boil gravity. We'll go with the refractometer. Alright, I didn't trust the refractometer, so I've got the hydrometer there. With the temperature of the wort at 60 degrees, I've got 1.040. So put that into the calculator and that gives me 1.053 pre-boil gravity, which is probably about right. So what I'm looking for is 1.048 for a final gravity or original gravity. So I think we're in the right range. Alright, I got thinking about pre-boil gravity, and it's higher than I want for my original gravity. So once I boil, I'm going to be way up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a liter of water. Alright, I added another liter. Alright, we're getting close to boil. I'm going to clean off all this stock break, proteins, whatever. Alright, time for my 60-minute hop edition. I'll start my timer. And it's in. Okay, there's the alarm. 15 minutes left in the boil. Boil flock. What hops is it? Simcoe hops, I believe. And yeast nutrient. Okay, at this time also, I got my counterflow chiller hooked up, so I'm going to start the pump and let it recirculate to kill any bacteria in the counterflow chiller. So it'll recirculate for 15 minutes. Should be good. Alright, I got 10 minutes left in the boil. Poured myself a beer. The only beer I got on tap right now, it's a blonde I just made. It's pretty mellow. It's made with thinking about my friends. So I think it turned out really well, actually. It tastes like I said, it's pretty mellow, but I think my friends will really like it, so I'll take a little bit to the New Year's party too, I guess. Maybe just a growler. We'll see. I got a lot of IPAs that I got to use up before they lose their flavor. So far everything's gone pretty good. We've had I got higher pre-boil gravity than I thought I would get. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe last time I didn't do as good of a job, or maybe last time I used the refractometer to measure the pre-boil gravity. I'm not sure. I can't remember 100%. I guess I got to recalibrate it. But after doing all the calculations and adding the extra liter of water, it seems like I got about 1.05 pre-boil gravity. So we'll have to see what I get for an original gravity. But turns out a little bit stronger. No big deal. I'm still, even though I've done 15 batches or so in this thing, I'm just still trying to get my process down. Consistency, keeping records and that. It seems I always forget a little something, but it's not too often that I make the same beer twice. I like to kind of change it up a little bit, try and get a different taste. So this beer is the second time I made this beer, but it's really not the same beer because I've added already another 2 liters of water to it. It was up around 7% last time, so maybe it should be down around 5%, but that might take away from the flavor as well. But we'll see how it turns out. Alright, there it is. The hour's up. So turn off the heat, set the timer for 15 minutes. An ounce of citra hops. Kind of a whirlpool, not really, but hop stand, I guess you call it. Alright, we've got about a minute left. Before I start the cooling process. So it looks like everything's in order. Probably gonna have to go refresh my beer, but I probably won't have any time to drink it anyways, so I'll take care of that a little later. No, looking good so far. Yeah, it's looking good. Just hang out with me here for about a minute and we'll be good. There's something I gotta do at the fridge, but I can't remember what it is. Well, all in all, so far it's gone according to plan-ish. Nothing ever does, but that all comes with time and more brewing. I still don't get the gravity. I did the hydrometer and I filled it up, took a reading when it was like 70 degrees, did the calculations, got about 1.053, did more calculations later as it cooled, and it keeps changing, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. Maybe there's evaporation happening, but so we'll turn on some cold water here and we'll bring our temperature down. And I just remember what I need to do over there. I need to get the yeast and put it in the star sand, but that's not a big deal. I can do that when we get down there. So my temperature is dropping here. It's 40. At 30. We'll get more water going through here. What I want to do is take it to about 25. Okay, we're at 25. Stop the pump. And feed it into the fermenter, and we'll just splash it and get our aeration that way. I got about 24-degree temperature. Starting to go up a little bit. Put a bit more cold water in. Okay, I've got, hopefully you can see that good. Looks like I got some good aeration. Quickly get my yeast. Okay, the tilt hydrometer into the star SAM, and the yeast is nowhere to be found. Okay, I found the yeast. Yeast on top. Oh, tilt hydrometer. My airlock. And now to take this to the fridge. Alright, here's my fermenter in my fridge. Got a heating wrap on it. Got the temperature sensor inside the thermal well. Over here I've got my temperature set to 18.5 degrees, and over here my tilt hydrometer, if I can get out of that light, is reading 1.042 original gravity, 21.1 degrees Celsius. So we'll see how that goes. One thing I think I forgot to do was put my dip tube in the bottom of the fermenter. Can't find it anywhere, so hopefully I did remember to put it there, but it's not the end of the world anyways. So time to go take a specific gravity or a original gravity reading with the actual hydrometer and see where we're at. Well, here it is, the hydrometer. Getting roughly 1.044, something like that. So I'll take a temperature reading, punch it into the calculator and see what we get. Alright, looks like we've got 1.044 original gravity, so that's not too bad. We'll see how she goes. Alright, here's the hop screen from the bottom of the Robobrew. What have we got in there? About 2 ounces of hops. So pretty much took care of everything. So now I just got to do the cleanup.